One of the first things that I was taught when I was entering management in corporate America, you always praise publicly and you criticize privately. Yesterday, I was having lunch with one of my friends. When we graduated college, we both worked at Fastenal together. We were reminiscing about old times, talking about how much fun that we had while working there. Looking back at it now, 15 or 20 years later, I learned a hell of a lot working at Fastenal. I learned more in my 7 years at Fastenal than I did in all the years I spent in high school and college. Fastenal has a school of business, and one of the first things they teach anyone that is looking to get into a leadership position, you always praise your employees publicly and you keep your criticisms private. You criticize someone one-on-one and you praise them in front of the group. Why? When you're in a management position, leadership position, your employees have to have a certain level of trust with you. Embarrassing someone in front of 20, 30 people, that's not a great way to build trust. Damn sure not a great way to increase morale. Criticizing your staff in front of millions of people, telling the world that you're about to fire your entire staff, that's even worse, which is exactly what Kevin Willard, the head coach at Villanova, it is exactly what he did yesterday afternoon about halfway through the first half. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the main channels in the description below. Halfway through the first half yesterday, Villanova was down 6 points to Utah State. Now, Villanova would take a 2-point lead into halftime, but they were completely dominated in the second half, ended up losing the game by 10 points. Season over. About halfway through the first half, CBS was coming back from commercial break. They had one of those sideline reporters interrupting the game. They're interrupting head coach Kevin Willard to conduct one of those doofus mid-game interviews. Normally, I hate these damn things. The reporter asks some forced scripted question. Hey, coach, what's happening? You guys are getting your ass kicked. What are you gonna do to soothe your bruised caboose? At that point, the head coach issues some generic response. Our athletic trainers are great, just great. They're going to apply some preparation H and we'll be sitting comfortably in no time. I have never understood why the networks do these interviews. 99.9% of the time, they are a complete waste of time. But after what happened yesterday, I understand. These interviews might be boring 99.9% of the time, but the networks, they are looking for that 0.1%. They are looking for the uncontrollable emotion. They are looking for that rage. And Kevin Willard, he gave CBS exactly what they wanted yesterday afternoon. Watch it for yourself.
16 paid points for Utah State. How do you keep them out?
I'm going to fire my staff because we've...
Not now.
Yeah, I am, because we've given up 8 points on underneath that bounds defense. So the only thing I'm going to do is fire them and get a new staff.
Now, some people are claiming that Kevin Willard was joking. I'll admit, I don't know a damn thing about the guy. Yesterday was the first time I had watched Villanova all season. If he was joking, the joke didn't land. But to me, he didn't seem like he was joking. As the head coach, it is never a good idea to blame your staff publicly. For years in New Orleans under Sean Payton, the defense sucked. The Saints' defense was historically bad. It was the drizzling shits. But Sean Payton, he didn't waste his time blaming Rob Ryan publicly. I'm sure he did privately. He eventually fired him, but he didn't waste his time blaming Rob Ryan publicly. Why? When you're the head coach, it's your responsibility to take all of the blame. No one outside of Villanova can name an assistant coach on this staff. Hell, most people couldn't even name the head coach until yesterday. Everyone knew of the legendary Jay Wright, but most people, they had never heard of Kevin Willard, which is why it doesn't make any sense that he would joke like this. Like I said, he didn't look like he was joking to me, but according to Kevin Willard himself, I was just making a funny. I refuse to apologize for being a comedian. You're not a comedian. You're a basketball coach who just got bounced in the first round. If Kevin Willard was joking, you're not established enough for people to know that you're joking. If this were Rick Pitino, John Calipari, dudes who have been around for decades, maybe you can get away with it then, but Kevin Willard? Dude, you haven't made it to that level yet. You might think you were joking. Problem is, no one else does. Everyone else took it seriously. And the reason they took it seriously is because you look like you were serious when you said it. But you guys tell me, was Kevin Willard joking around? Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.